Hello, welcome! Sorry guys, I'm a little bit late on this one. Why am I a bit late on this one, you say? Well, YouTube only lets you release 3 videos a day, because if you release any more, you don't get notified, even though YouTube chooses not to notify anyone anyway! Slow clap for the amazing platform that is YouTube. Anyway, this is fascinating. So obviously, few weeks, maybe a month ago now, we started to get some comments from Ray Fisher, right, Cyborg actor, that claiming Joss Whedon had, been, I don't know, offensive to him or something like that. Basically, he was trying to like out Joss Whedon, and I don't think Joss Whedon is a particularly nice dude. I think he's a bit of a, bit of an arse hat. I think it's fairly well documented from a few people that he's quite slimy and stuff like that. But Ray Fisher had released all this information without actually releasing any information. So it did seem a bit suspect, especially due to the timing. Snyder Cut had just been revealed. Do you know what I mean? All these kind of things. And I think I spoke for a lot of people, where a lot of people were like, can you just release some details? And the details that he did release weren't, well, look, they didn't seem particularly bad, in fairness. And then you had some counterclaims from John Berg, I think it was. I'm fairly certain it was John Berg, that came out and basically said, hey, Ray, you literally just got a bit offended because we wanted you to say booyah, but you didn't want to say booyah. And that was it, really. Like, it's a character comment, isn't it, from Cyborg? So no one knows quite what's going on, but it has developed further in now that we've got an investigation. So Warner Media has opened an investigation into Ray Fisher's Justice League claims against Joss Whedon, Geoff Johns, and John Berg. Although Geoff Johns is put in the title because obviously he's up there on search terms. I'll leave this article link down below, but let's check it out. Right, this the initial article actually comes from Variety, but this article's compiled it together a little bit more concise, a little bit more edible. So Warner Media is investigating allegations made by Cyborg actor Ray Fisher of what occurred on the set of Justice League at the hands of Joss Whedon and Geoff Johns. Variety reports an investigation has been launched into the repeated public statements made by Fisher that allege misconduct and unprofessional treatment by Whedon, Johns, and producer John Berg. Again, but it was pretty basic stuff, to be fair. Variety adds that there are no findings yet and no specific timeline for the investigation. Their source went on to say that Whedon, Johns, and Berg won't be prejudged and the investigation won't be limited to them or conducted publicly. Quite right. I think that's the right way to go. Now these are some of the tweets. Well, this is the initial tweet that he released saying, "Oh, hey, look, they're doing it now." After 5 weeks of interviews, I said that weird. After 5 weeks, 5 weeks of interviews with various cast and crew, Warner Media has officially launched an independent third-party investigation to get to the heart of the toxic and abusive work environment created during Justice League reshoots. This is a massive step forward. And he followed it up with, I believe this investigation will show that Geoff Johns, Joss Whedon, John Berg and others grossly abused their power during the uncertainty of AT&T's merger with Time Warner. Thank you, Warner Media and AT&T, for making strides to ensure a safer workplace for all. I mean, look. The thing is, no one's released any actual information, so it'll be fascinating to see what he actually claims as abusive and toxic. Because in my initial videos, I said this, is that someone, like an actor, look, Christopher Nolan doesn't allow chairs on set, right, of his films. Some little bitch actor would quite literally turn around and say that's abuse. Again, remember, we're living in the PAGs, aren't we? This is the Participation Award generation, the people that think they're entitled to absolutely everything just for turning up, rather than actually being good and earning stuff. Hence, PAGs. I made it up, Participation Award generation, but you can use it. Hashtag PAGs on Twitter. Let's get it trending. But yeah, and like Christopher Nolan not allowing chairs, that would quite literally be deemed abuse by some people. It's all perception, isn't it? It's how thick your skin is. And I'm not saying you should accept racism at work. I don't think you should allow sexism at work. There's a whole string of things which obviously, are illegal and should not be allowed at work. But looking at this, I feel like some of this stuff doesn't fall into the illegal category. And as such, some of it, you do need to just grow a bit of a backbone and just deal with it. Like I've dealt with, we all have. So I'm not, well, unless you're a pag and you're watching this, we have all dealt with environments at the workplace that are not the best, right? Not every work is the best. It's just a fact. But you suck it up and you get on with it, and it makes you a better person in the long run. And it also makes you appreciate good working atmospheres, you know? But anyway, this is some of the stuff that he had tweeted out. So I want to string it off, right? Joss Whedon's on-set treatment of the cast and crew of Justice League was gross, abusive, unprofessional, and completely unacceptable. All of that is opinion. There is nothing, there's nothing demonstrable there. It is all opinion, right? And as such, it's open to interpretation. None of those things are clearly defined, right? It's not like the time. You don't look at the time and say it's 1, but it might be 10 past 1. No, it's 1. It's a definitive fact. All of this is open to interpretation. Gross and abusive. Again, let's use the Christopher Nolan's chair thing as an example. Not allowing a chair on set can be deemed as abusive. Unprofessional, who's the arbiter of professionalism, and completely unacceptable. Again, way open for interpretation. And I'm not trying to defend anyone, but we have to identify these things first before we can progress and move forwards and kind of what we're due to expect, I guess, from the findings. And it also just allows us to not go in with like a jaded view of it all. Now, he'd also, again, these charges were backed up by numerous supporters of Fisher, some of whom were present on set. Apparently Grace Randolph of Beyond the Trailer had also reported on such incidents. And then he basically came out and said this, right? During the LA reshoots for Justice League, Geoff Johns summoned me to his office to belittle and admonish my and my agent's attempts to take grievances up the proper chain of command. But Geoff Johns was a producer. He is part of the chain of command. It may have been that you tried to supersede him. And if any boss, if you do that to any boss, any manager, they're going to be pissed at you. Aren't they? Now again, that's just how I'm reading it. And I'm probably looking at it with a bit of a, a bit of a tinted worldview, a bit of a negative slant on it. But that's unfortunately the world we live in. When a professor could sit there and say that Alien and Predator are racist, I'm happy to sit here and assume that someone's a little bit salty because they wanted to supersede a manager and they got a bit annoyed and they said, "What are you doing, mate?" That's kind of what it sounds like to me. But again, I'm just looking at it from my negative worldview. He then made a thinly veiled threat to my career. You don't have a career anyway. I understand full well the personal and professional risk associated with my speaking out against the abhorrent behaviour of Joss Whedon and his enablers, Geoff Johns and John Berg. I will not relent. This is good trouble, necessary trouble. Mate, you were never in any trouble. Like, you did this at the height of BLM. You're in no trouble at all. Come on. If someone had then said, no, definitely you're fired, it would have been public outcry. So no, you're talking absolute nonsense and you know it. But there you go. It's interesting. Berg has denied the claims, said categorically that we enabled any unprofessional behaviour is untrue. And it should be noted that corroboration of Fisher's allegations hasn't been offered yet. So no one said, yeah, no, I agree with him. Yeah, definitely. No one said that. But it'll be interesting. We shall see. Now, again, I'm not saying either one's right or wrong, but from an outside perspective looking in, this is coming from someone that thinks Joss Whedon's a bit of a douche. It just seems like someone's a bit salty, basically. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you guys think? Right, wrong, and love to hear it. I mean, the thing about this is fascinating is the fact that it's actually something's happening. When did we last hear that this has ever gone on? Never. Normally, it's just an announcement made publicly of, oh, they're fired then. Or, oh, this has happened. We're cancelling them immediately. Never has it gone to the point where someone's just gone, yeah, we're doing an investigation. Well, that's new. And also, maybe because Warner Media are doing this, maybe they'll do something with Amber Heard and Ezra Miller. Maybe. Again, I don't know. Be fascinating to see how that develops, because obviously Amber Heard's through a lawsuit right now, so it'll be fascinating to see how that develops and how Warner Media approach that. Because wasn't it trending on Twitter? We just don't like you, Amber, or something like that. Like, crazy stuff. But I mean, she's wholly unlikable anyway. But let me know your thoughts on this down below in the comments. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. Stay up to date on the world of pop culture movie news by hitting the bell notification icon. Thank you so much, though, guys. Have a missed age. Take care.